your November Social Security update, who's getting paid, what it means, and why it matters for your finances. Hey everyone, welcome back to PyUncut, the place where we simplify money, investing, and the economy so you can take smarter control of your finances. Today's episode is especially relevant for millions of Americans because it's about Social Security payments for November, who's getting them, and what the bigger story behind these checks says about your financial future. Let's dive right in. Segment 1. What's happening on November 12th? The U.S. Social Security Administration, or the SSA, is getting ready to send out its next batch of checks on Wednesday, November 12th. Now you might be wondering, wait a second, isn't the government still in a shutdown? Yes. The article makes it clear. Even with the record-breaking federal shutdown continuing, Social Security payments are still going out on schedule. That's because Social Security is funded through a trust, not annual government appropriations. So while agencies may close or furlough workers, your benefits are safe and continue uninterrupted. This is an important reminder. Social Security runs on its own revenue stream, primarily through payroll taxes. So if you or someone in your family relies on that monthly payment, you can breathe easy this November. Segment 2. Who's getting paid on November 12th? Here's how the system works. Of the roughly 70 million Americans receiving Social Security benefits, which includes retirees, survivors, and people on disability, most are paid based on the birthday of the worker's record they're claiming benefits on. The schedule goes like this. Born between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your payment date is Wednesday, November 12th. Born between the 11th and the 20th, you'll get paid the following week, Wednesday, November 19th. Born between the 21st and the 31st, your check arrives Wednesday, November 26th. So if your birthday falls in those first 10 days of the month, next Wednesday is your day. This system helps the SSA spread out payments over the month and keeps processing smooth for tens of millions of recipients. Segment 3. Who was already paid earlier? Not everyone is part of that Wednesday rotation. If you started receiving Social Security before May 1997, you're part of the older payment system. Your money arrives on the 3rd of every month, no matter when your birthday is. So those long-term beneficiaries already received their November payment on Monday, November 3rd. And what about those who also receive Supplemental Social Security, or SSI? Here's where it gets interesting. SSI payments are usually made on the 1st of every month. But when the 1st lands on a weekend or holiday, payments are issued early. This month, November 1st fell on a Saturday, so SSI payments were sent on Friday, October 31st. About 2.5 million Americans receive both SSI and regular Social Security benefits. They got the SSI portion on October 31st and the Social Security payment on November 3rd. So yes, there's a rhythm to it. Once you know your category, your calendar practically fills itself. Segment 4. How much are people receiving? Now let's talk numbers. According to the SSA, the average retirement benefit is $2,008.31 per month. The maximum monthly benefit for those who delayed retirement until 70 is $5,108. For disability recipients, those under the SSDI program, the average check is about $1,583 per month. Survivor benefits paid to widows or dependents average $1,575. And SSI recipients, typically low-income seniors or people with disabilities, receive around $718 per month. It's not a fortune, but for millions of retirees, it's the foundation of their financial security, which is why the SSA's next update, about 2026, matters even more. Segment 5. Good news. A raise is coming in 2026. The Social Security Administration has already announced a 2.8% cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for January 2026. That means monthly checks will increase automatically to offset inflation. For the average retiree, that's about $56 more per month. COLA is tied to the Consumer Price Index, and while 2.8% isn't huge, it's a signal that inflation pressures are moderating compared to the high post-pandemic years. If you're planning your retirement income, this COLA adjustment helps preserve your purchasing power, but it also highlights the importance of building additional streams of income through savings, investments, or side projects. Because let's be honest, a few extra dollars in Social Security helps, but it's not enough to outpace medical inflation or housing costs long term. Segment 6. How benefits are delivered. Most Americans today no longer receive a paper check. In fact, the SSA says it's almost fully paperless. You now have two main options: direct deposit, straight to your bank or credit union account, or the Direct Express debit card, a prepaid card issued by the Treasury Department, often used by recipients without a bank account. Direct deposit remains the safest and fastest route, while the debit card is a good alternative for people with limited access to banking services. You can manage or change your payment method easily on the SSA's My Social Security online portal. Segment 7. The bigger picture. What this means for your money. Now, you might think this is just about payment schedules, but it's actually about something bigger: financial stability during uncertainty. Even in a government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history, Social Security payments keep flowing. That reliability is one of the cornerstones of America's social safety net. But here's the catch. The system itself is under stress. The Social Security Trust Fund is projected to face depletion around the mid-2030s unless reforms are made. That doesn't mean the program disappears, but benefits could be automatically cut by about 20 to 25%. That's why today's younger workers need to think of Social Security as a supplement, not a substitute for retirement savings. Segment 8. Investing and planning takeaways. So, what can you do? Here are 3 practical takeaways from today's update. 1. Know your numbers. Check your SSA account to see your estimated benefit at retirement. It's eye-opening and motivating to see what your monthly check might look like. 2. Build your own safety net. If you're under 50, aim for multiple income sources: 401ks, IRAs, brokerage accounts, or even dividend ETFs. Don't rely solely on government benefits. 3. Think inflation-adjusted income. With COLA averaging 2 to 3% annually, your Social Security check grows slowly, but your living costs, especially healthcare, often rise faster. Diversify into assets that beat inflation, like index funds, REITs, or Treasury inflation-protected securities, or TIPS. Remember, retirement security isn't about one big check. It's about consistent, diversified income streams that keep pace with real-world prices. That's all for this episode of PyUncut, your weekly guide to money, markets, and meaning. If you found this useful, share it with a friend or family member who's receiving Social Security. They'll thank you for helping them stay informed. And as always, stay curious, stay invested, and stay financially independent. I'm your host, signing off. See you next time.